I was very excited when this showed up because I am a fan of The Simpsons and I used to work at a fast food restaurant. Some might call me an expert, some might call me a guru. I'm just happy I get to put my 3 days of fast food experience to good use. There's a time when everyone I knew could quote this show. It's not like we planned it or anything, it just kinda leaked into everyday life. And somehow it stuck. I get a Simpsons joke, video, or meme sent to my messages at least once a month. It's practically another language. This car has been in the intro for decades. It flies past the camera in the first few seconds every single episode. You don't really think about it, but once you start building it, it feels kinda weird how familiar it is. But this time it has a little bit of a twist. At this part of the build, we had to get everything just right, and I noticed that we had a gap. And since a clown car has to be perfect, it took a bit of reapplying to make sure to get everything dialed in. Next, it was time to apply one of my favorite features on a car. These speed holes which make the car go faster. At least that's what my car salesman said. Now this car wouldn't be accurate without the appropriate clown detailing. From bumper to bumper, we have to make this look just right. You see, this is from when The Simpsons were in their prime. Living through peak Simpsons was just completely unhinged in the best way. This car makes a brief appearance and Homer makes a brief exit, but it's still something I remembered right away. There's always someone like this behind the counter. No name tag, no eye contact, just trying to survive the lunch rush. I respect it. Putting on the drive-thru menu felt more important than it probably should have. These aren't the most exciting stickers, but they hit something. I've pulled up to drive-thrus like this more times than I can count. Usually late at night, way too tired, ordering the same thing I always do. You're not really thinking in those moments, but somehow they stick with you. Especially when your order is wrong and you eat it anyway. The soda machines are a staple in any fast food restaurant. It doesn't matter what flavor you get, they all kinda taste the same, which I suppose is what keeps you coming back. It could also be the sugar. While putting together the branding for the drive-thru, I was briefly reminded of my slight irrational fear of clowns. And this is a fantastic reminder. The drive-thru area is nothing fancy, but it still kind of pulls you in. There's just something about this space, maybe it's just how many times I've sat in front of one. It can sometimes be a bit awkward. You pull up too far, the speaker's half broken, someone says something and you pretend to understand it, and then you panic order. These places are a chaotic mess. People are yelling, headsets are going off, ice machines are breaking down in the middle of everything, and still somehow it runs smoothly. Well, for about 34% of the time, roughly speaking. I could hardly hold my enthusiasm when it was time to build the fast food bathroom, everyone's favorite place to stop by. It's usually locked, smells weird even from the outside, and yet you still go in because you don't have a choice. And this build has everything you need. It's cramped, kind of awkward, and somehow still feels accurate. The experience is just a handful of steps, but the moment it's done, you know exactly what it is. You don't necessarily need a sign on the wall. You can just tell, it's like you've been here before. Now that I can say the set has gotten a hold of me, let's move on to the star of the show. We wouldn't be here without this guy. At this point, it's mostly just framework, laying down plates and lining up walls. I threw the bathroom door in while I was at it, nothing exciting, but it's starting to take some shape. For all the ribheads out there, we have the mystery meat sandwich that were crazy addicting. Thankfully, the animal that's responsible for this is nowhere to be found. Amazingly, this restaurant is open 24 hours and they have served over 12 people. It's not really McDonald's numbers, but at least they're honest. Solid marketing. Of course, we have to put together what looks like a mailbox. It makes it feel more real and also the perfect spot to collect some of the complaints. Laying down floor tiles is one of those parts of the build where time just kinda disappears. You're not thinking about what comes next, you're just lining up plates and hoping they stay straight. There's just something satisfying about it. It's repetitive, but it looks good. It's kind of like mowing a tiny checkerboard lawn. And when the windows start to go in, it finally starts to feel like an actual place. But there's probably something on fire in the kitchen. Or maybe that's just the northern lights. I added the little in sign for the drive-thru next. Simple, but it does the job. It points you in, probably doesn't point you out. Then there's the shrubbery. I don't know if it's meant to look like Krusty, but once you see it, you definitely cannot unsee it. And somehow it feels completely normal here. Like, of course there's a poorly trimmed hedge shaped like a clown right next to the drive-thru. That's just how this place operates. Unsettling, but on brand. Next up, we have the smartest person in the entire set by far. And given that she's a vegetarian, I don't think she wants to be here. She knows that you don't win friends with salad. I built the trash can next, right under the ketchup dispensers, which feels about right. Every fast food place has that one sticky spot that no one wants to deal with, and this is it. Fast food dining areas all kind of feel the same. It doesn't matter what city you're in, you have the same plastic booths, the same sticky floor, same kid crying in the corner. And there's always that one table that rocks no matter how you sit. We all end up here after long days, bad road trips, school lunches, or late nights. The food is usually good while we're eating it, but sometimes we can regret it later on, usually the next day. But at the same time, these are still some of our favorite memories. You could probably stop at any fast food restaurant and be taken back to when you were younger. At least your stomach might remind you. And this is definitely the kind of place where nobody ever takes the signs down, they just keep adding new ones on top. And that's when you know that it's a quality establishment. Bart Simpson was every kid's blueprint for causing trouble. We all wanted to be like him, and every parent quietly panicked. Next up was the ball pit. It's bright, colorful, and instantly triggers every childhood memory you didn't ask for. These things always looked fun from a distance until you actually got in. The plastic balls were half deflated, the bottom was sticky, and it always smelled like feet and whatever spilled soda had soaked into the foam padding underneath. No one ever cleaned these things. They just sort of existed like a test of how badly you wanted to play. But as a kid, it didn't matter. You would jump in anyway, lose a shoe, maybe a little dignity, and call it a good time. And here it is in Lego form, sanitized, safe, and completely unable to give you pink eye. Putting together the registers feels pretty routine, just a couple tiles and printed pieces. But once they're in, it locks the space in. You can almost hear the quiet beeping, the impatient tapping, and someone asking what combos are still technically available. Applying more stickers here, it's not tricky, just relentless. You sort of get into a rhythm, but it does wear on your focus a bit. But still, once they're down, the build tightens up in a way that feels worth it. You do need patience for applying larger stickers like these. It was a miracle I got this on in the first attempt. I also worked on the outer walls during the stretch, and it's the kind of stuff that doesn't stand out in a photo, but makes a big difference when you're looking at the whole thing in person. It's quiet progress, but everything just kind of blends together. Officer Lou looks pretty bored at the moment, but give it a few minutes and Chief Wiggum will send him on a case for a missing cheeseburger, which is somewhat more important than an actual case. In a city where a kid once yelled, "He's already dead," and nobody blinked, this absolutely checks out. The ice cream machine was next, and it didn't take too long to put this one together. We do need to make sure to put the out of order sticker on here to make sure that it's accurate. I don't think I've ever seen one of these working in real life, so if you're looking for realism, you've come to the right place. Next up was this appliance-looking thing. It could be a fridge, it might be a freezer. Whatever it is, there's a crate on top with an expiration that's slightly out of date. This honestly raises more questions than it answers. But we'll just tuck this away over here for now. It's finally time to build one of the patented Krusty burgers. It's simple but comically oversized, about half the height of a minifigure. If someone tried to actually eat this, they would either pass out or win a t-shirt. But a burger this big doesn't need to make sense, it just needs to exist. This storage cart looks like the kind of thing that gets wheeled out when something breaks, which around here is most likely on a daily basis. This has to be the most accurate label on the entire building. I wouldn't really ask too many questions here, and I don't think anybody is, and it's for the best. It was time to build the food menu board that's above the counter. You've got burgers, fries, and whatever counts as dessert. No combos, no customization, just pick something and hope for the best. It's the kind of menu that hasn't been updated since the place was opened, and I don't think anybody noticed. Now moving on to the fryer next, you get a quick little section with a basket and eventually a dial that gets added to the side. It's not fancy, but it does the job. You can picture someone working this thing non-stop, barely looking at it, just muscle memory at this point. Drop the fries, hit the dial, and hope they don't come out completely burnt. Maybe we'll leave it up to the next shift. This is the part of the kitchen where all of the magic happens. It's just a few pieces, but you instantly know what it is. A flat surface with some grill lines. It looks like the kind of thing that's been running since the place opened. I don't think it's been cleaned since then either. But hey, that's where the flavor comes from, right? Let's throw a dial and a spatula in next to show that someone is taking care of this kitchen. The next part looks like some sort of a grease trap, or at least something that's supposed to be. It's tucked in the back, out of sight, and already looks like it's overflowing. Which, if you've ever worked in a place like this, makes total sense. No one wants to clean it, or wants to admit that it's full, and it eventually just becomes a part of the scenery. It's rather disgusting, but it's also accurate. Started working on the orange roof trim next, and this part runs all the way around the building, so it takes a bit. It's not a complicated build, just kind of long, and it's the same piece, the same motion over and over. But honestly, there's something kind of nice about it. The repetition is weirdly satisfying, and when it finally clicks into place, the whole thing feels more solid. The bright orange frame kind of pulls everything together. You've seen it 100 times in the show, but just never really thought about how specific it is until you're locking it in one section at a time. It's loud, kind of ugly, but exactly right. It kind of reminds me of fast food restaurants in real life. And that's something that I didn't expect. Next up is the roof, which is about as industrial as it gets. I'm not quite sure what this trap door is for, but hey, it's there. The roof vent might be one of my favorite parts. Not because it looks cool, but because we all know what it does. This is the thing that blasts the fryer smell into the neighborhood. You could be blocks away and suddenly all you want is something deep fried and covered in salt. It's technically not advertising, it's technically science. I don't think our next guest is here to eat, rather I think he's here for something else. And whatever it is probably not good. Started working on the main sign next, and even without the face, you can start to tell what this is. This has been floating around in the background of The Simpsons for decades, and you don't need much to recognize it. The build itself is pretty straightforward, but the scale is wild. Way larger than it needs to be, but it seems to be pretty solid while you're putting it together. I'll be honest, with Krusty's name on it, I was expecting something a little more subpar. I mean, he did bet against the Harlem Globetrotters, and I know the Generals were due. As we continue to work on the frame, I can tell it's going to tower over everything else. It doesn't matter that it's not finished, you know exactly what it's trying to sell you. It's big, bold, and 100% Krusty. Now let's add the face stickers before we have a nightmare. Originally, it was a blank sign, kind of eerie, like it was missing something. Then you slap Krusty's giant grin on here, and it's somehow worse. If you didn't have a clown phobia, you do now. There's just something off about using a clown as the face of a restaurant. Like deep down you know it's a bad idea, but it's been around so long that no one questions it. He's not welcoming, he's just watching, and people still show up like it's totally normal. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say it's maybe because the fries are decent. And with that, I stepped back, looked it over, and decided that the build was indeed perfect. I'm glad we could enjoy the build, and until next time, I will catch you in the next one.